All right, today I want to talk about the one way that you can learn to program. In my opinion, there really is only one way to learn how to program. There are many different avenues that you can take on your journey to becoming a programmer. You know, you can go the pure self-taught route. You can go to a boot camp. You can go to graduate school or go to some type of university. But no matter which path you choose, there really is only one way to learn how to program. The only way to learn to program is to actually program. You need to start programming as soon as possible. And that is going to vary, okay? Your ability to program is going to vary at different stages. So when you're first learning, you are not going to have an understanding of some project that you can work on, okay? The things that you're going to be doing are really basic syntax level things. You're going to get some understanding of what a function is, of if you're going the object-oriented route, of what object-oriented programming is. And all of these concepts, okay, when you approach them at first, they're going to seem really strange to you. It's not going to make any sense. You're not going to have any intuition for how these things actually work. And that's fine, okay? You don't need to get discouraged about that because this is the first iteration. Your understanding of object-oriented programming and what a function is going to change as you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And you're going to develop new models for your understanding of what programming actually is. So I think it's important to not get discouraged on your journey and feel like, oh my God, I don't understand this. Yeah, you definitely don't understand it. And even after a year, you might think that you understand it, but your understanding of it is probably going to be changing all of the time. So the important thing is to start programming. Now, when you go to actually start programming, you might notice that you have to do things. You have to install software. You have to set up your IDE, your development environment. You might have issues with importing packages if you're using Python or Java or something. And you know, all of these issues that you're having, you again might feel like, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know how any of this stuff works. How can I know how to program if I can't even import a package? But to tell you the truth, this is actually what programming is. This is a huge part of what programming is. Just setting up development environments, installing software, setting up software so that it will run. If you can get your software running, that's awesome. Here's something that people have very little patience for in programming and software is somebody who's just going to say, it just doesn't work. I don't know. It just doesn't work. I can't get it to work. There's a bug in it somehow. You need to develop the attitude of, I'm going to make this thing work. And it might be extremely uncomfortable at times, okay? You're going to be working on something and it's going to seem so trivial. It's not the thing that you wanted to do at all. You wanted to write some AI crypto bot in Python that's going to make you a ton of money. That's awesome. You should try to do something like that. That's a really cool project. But you're probably going to have some annoyances along the way of just getting things to work properly. And you might spend hours, literally 10 hours just glued to your screen working on some dumb dependency problem. This is programming. The more you do this, the better you're going to get at it. And this uncomfortable feeling that you get, you really just need to get used to that uncomfortable feeling of sitting down, hunkering down, using your mind, trying to work through problems. And as you work through these problems, you're going to develop an understanding of the patterns of problem solving in programming in general, and the programming language that you're working in specifically, because every programming language sort of has its nuances, and some of them are more pleasant to work with than others because of this ease in the ability to set things up and just get things running as they are and allow you to focus more on the actual problems that you're trying to solve. So this is what programming is, okay? And it really doesn't matter when you think like, how am I going to learn to program? The benefit of going to university is that they give you projects to work on and they give you deadlines, and maybe you might even be working in a group. But that doesn't even mean that you're going to learn to program that way, okay? You can easily go through university and not really be a programmer, not really learn the ropes of programming. I mean, I'm sure you could kind of skate by at a lot of universities with like a C or a B and really not understand or be able to, just take a problem from start to finish in a programming project. So the more you can provide yourself the opportunity to actually sit down and work through problems, the better. Watching tutorials and doing things that other people are doing exactly as they're doing it, it is doing nothing for you. You're really not getting much out of that at all. Now, what might happen is you might watch, let's just say, an hour-long video. There's some great tutorials online, like Traversy Media. If you follow one of his tutorials on like how to do React, that's fine. There is a way of actually utilizing that to your benefit, okay? But if you're just going to do exactly what he does, and then if you hit a problem, you just say, oh, this doesn't work, I'm just gonna post on Stack Overflow like how to fix this problem, you're never gonna learn anything that way. What you need to do is, while you're watching him do it, actually set up your own project and do things as much as you can differently from the way that he's doing, while kind of following the structure of what he's doing. And then what you're going to realize is that you get 10 minutes into this video and you hit a bug that just takes you hours to solve, and it takes you 20 hours to work through this video on how to learn React or something. That seems appropriate, actually, because learning React is no simple feat. It's not like you learn it and just by watching a 1-hour tutorial. Probably doing 20 solid hours of thinking on your own through the problems, not watching somebody and then copying what they do, but thinking through problems and reading, the documentation, like the core documentation on how things actually work. And then, when you're reading like React documentation, and maybe you also have to dive into JavaScript documentation too, just to see how JavaScript itself works, if you're taking that approach to learning like a high level framework, and then instead of learning the basics of JavaScript first. So the point here that I'm making is that there is only one way to learn to program, and it is a long and arduous road. And anybody that's trying to sell you something like learn programming fast, what are you optimizing for exactly? What is it that you're trying to accomplish by learning to program fast? You never stop learning to program. You're always going to be learning to program. So are you trying to learn to program in 3 months and then you're just gonna stop? Because really it doesn't make any sense. It's almost like a complete contradiction to say learn programming fast. It doesn't make any sense at all. You are going to spend years learning to program. If you actually want to be a programmer, you're going to spend years of your life learning and relearning and thinking of things in new ways and adapting to technologies that are constantly changing. So don't optimize for learning fast. Optimize for just learning in general, and also optimize for getting comfortable with the feeling of being uncomfortable in your pursuit of knowledge. Because really, when you're learning, it is very uncomfortable. This is what the literature in cognitive psychology shows too, that when you're learning, it actually puts tremendous stress on your brain, and you can physically feel uncomfortable. If you're not feeling that way, and it's too easy, you're not learning by doing what you're doing. So I hope that this video helps you and inspires you on your journey. You just gotta move through walls. I don't care if it takes you an entire week to debug the simplest thing, you just got to do it. You got to go through those struggles. You have to win those battles. You have to build your own confidence internally in yourself, in your ability to solve problems, to fix bugs, to understand code. Don't go looking for the easy route. Don't go looking for some structure or some social structure to tell you that here's a certificate, you've learned to program. That's not how it works. And that's not even how it's, at the beginning, that wasn't it at all. It was just a few people that were really passionate about understanding software, understanding programs, and they drove things forward while the whole of society was saying that it was useless. It was pointless. Nobody was going to be able to program. But there were a few people that really drove things forward and made what we have today. So you kind of have to develop that hacker mentality if you want to truly learn to program.